Okay, Pat, wait until we start the show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if I was Pat, I would have waited.
I got to text him. We're rolling.
Pat Money's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1262, March 8, 2024. 70 degrees on this day in 2016, and 8 below on this day in 1877.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
Yes, I watched the State of the Union. I felt I owed it to myself.
Same.
You did?
I did.
And so
Three
did
of
I.
us did, yeah.
Kenny and Reavers did not. Reavers, you're not going to get away with 5 minutes.
That's about all I could do.
Well, okay. I have 4 observations.
Okay.
Number 1.
I wasn't ready
There
to
we
go.
go. He's going to start it out with number 1.
I wasn't going to go to number 1.
What about you forgot about ice outs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't forget about ice outs.
Yeah. I had great affection for ice out dates. I'm afraid climate change has ruined them now.
Well, Cedar Lake went out over in Wisconsin.
I think White Bear went out a couple days ago. Minnetonka's probably out. So, I loved doing them. I thought
half of Pelican Lake is out. Christina's out.
I thought they were important and something needed to understand nature. And
I'll be driving by Cannon Lake later today. I'll give you a report.
Right. I have 4 observations.
Let's go.
Now, number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah.
The president got through it just fine. There were no snafus that were worth mentioning.
Dr. Nick had him up and running like a top.
Yeah.
Like a
I
champ.
don't know what they gave him, but he was all right.
But we did do the old standing ovation every 15 seconds.
Well, I told you that would be part of it. But then as you look back over them, they've done that traditionally. But he, in particular, was able to take advantage of that. Number 2, I thought he yelled the speech. There was no conversational tone in his voice. He pretty much, to me, yelled throughout the speech.
Well, sometimes older people, when they have hearing issues, that's what they do. Because they think nobody else can hear as good as he can.
Well, what I thought about it was that, and this would have been with complete justification, he probably thinks, most of the gaffes I've made are when I speak softly and get going.
Yeah.
And if I yell it out, I have a better opportunity to articulate and get my point across.
So your point is that he may have been coached. He was coached to do this. Or do it by
sure.
instinct.
I wouldn't put that past him.
And part of it, don't you think they wanted to make him seem more energetic?
Absolutely.
So to do that, he had to be loud and vociferous.
So I've done 2 observations. 1, he got through it just fine. 2, to me, he did so by yelling. He was very loud.
Okay.
3rd observation, it occurred to me, and it should have occurred to me years ago. Maybe it did subconsciously. But the State of the Union is basically the night when the third rail pretends they acknowledge the rest of us.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
They put on their fancy, they go in and take pictures of each other, and they pretend they're aware of what's going on in America.
Explain the white coats and all the kisses that he gave. He gave out so many kisses last night. And the white coats were female power empowerment. Or
that would have something to do with
International Women's
abortion.
Day. Oh, is that it?
Yeah. And the kisses, well, A, he's a kisser.
Yeah.
And B, I think part of the plan for him last night was to be the last guy out of the room.
He lingered.
Yeah.
The room cleared out. My wife pointed that out.
And I think that was, again, designed to show his stamina.
Whoa, he's stamina.
Yeah. So what have I got? 3 observations.
Or he forgot where he was supposed to go.
No. So I had 3 observations. He got through it. He yelled. It's the night when the third rail demonstrates they're pretending that they're aware of us. Mm-hmm. But the fourth and most important one is I am sick and tired of the boilerplate that you hear no matter who's president. You hear it, I've heard it for 40 years, this utter BS about taxes and people paying their fair share. A, the people paying taxes are the people who make money. And B, Biden in particular, you've been a terribly mediocre public figure for 45 years. There's no doubt in my mind that in the course of your 45 years, you've taken part in tax law creation. You people write the tax laws.
He's been doing it for 40 years.
You write the tax laws, and then every State of the Union address, the president wants to say that taxes are not strident enough against the rich. You wrote them. I didn't write them. You didn't write them. Elon Musk didn't write them. You guys wrote 403 people in this country are responsible for writing the tax laws.
I hate to tell you this. You sound like Trump when he was accused of not paying taxes.
Yeah, well, whatever.
That was exactly his reply.
But it's this boilerplate BS class warfare crap.
Yeah. Well, you're right.
That he engages in, and it's in every State of the Union. It's just part of the template of the State of the Union speech. Throw in the class warfare BS. So those are my 4 observations. To review, he got through it just fine.
Yeah.
He yelled. It's the night when the third rail deigns to pretend that they're aware of us. And 4, we were not disappointed in the dragging out of the tax BS that they write. Those are my 4. John, what do you think?
I agree with you on a couple. I think the important thing for him to do was to appear fine, which he did. I think that was the part he had to do. And the yelling thing kind of, I don't know, I think it's somewhat disingenuous. I notice on the right they're saying, well, he just seemed really angry and was yelling when they've accused him for the last 6 months of being too soft and not making any points.
Well, I'm not equating the yelling to anger. I do think other people have done that. I'm equating the yelling to, I think that was his preferred delivery method.
Just to seem energetic.
Screwing up.
Like you
and seem energetic.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he just yelled.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up in one of your 4 points the fact that whenever this started, and I think it started under the Trump regime, this whole heckling during this thing. Why have we dissolved to this point? It's embarrassing.
It's untoward.
I thought it was kind of a parliamentary British.
Yes, it's untoward. I thought Marjorie Taylor Greene looked like a pig.
She's a national embarrassment.
Sitting there with her bleeping hat on. I thought she was a pig. Why
which is
George
illegal,
Soros,
by the way.
Not George Soros. What's that fraud that got kicked out?
Santos.
George Santos. He was there, sitting with Mac Getz, another beauty. So it was just the typical. Let's acknowledge that we think there's a country there paying attention to us.
I'm also sick of January 6th. Let's get over that. And the threat of January 6th again. It just.
Well, I got news for you. It's going to be a pretty big issue.
Wait till next January 6th if he loses.
Now I understand Trump had plans to live play-by-play the thing. And his Truth Social went out.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
I'm surprised there's no conspiracy theories today about that.
And unless I missed it, I looked this morning and I didn't see anything.
Wasn't it? His whatever happened, the web went down or however that stuff works. He couldn't text.
Did he try restarting it?
I don't know. He just unplugged it and plugged it.
Whoever was his Chris Reavers just didn't have the equipment set up right. Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Sorry, Chris.
Oh, it's all good.
One of the correspondents, I believe Jordy. Well, Kelsey has a note too. You better get the rim shot ready.
I got it.
This was on.
I like when you go like this.
I think this is unkind with Kelsey. He notes that from the San Francisco area, a Tesla Cybertruck got stuck in the sand And Kelsey believes, rumor has it that he was on his way to a boat show at Gull Lake. Boom. See, I got stuck in the
But it was the way you
funny?
got stuck. It's I've got this. I'm going to go around the sign.
The way I got stuck was stupidity.
Regarding your fourth point of Biden bitching about taxes and acting like he's not part of the side that doesn't pay, his net worth, as far as I can tell here, about 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, no, I don't care what anybody's worth. I'm for everybody being worth as
what
much
I'm
as
trying
possible.
to say is he's probably on the side that he's criticizing.
Absolutely.
And he's acting like he's not.
But you guys roll every State of the Union. I end up yelling at the TV because that comes up. You wrote the tax laws.
He did spend a little more time on the corporate end of it though last night, the tax rather than the rich. Who do
you guys
taxes.
go to? Mrs. Miller, Linda Keller. Well,
KellerTaxService.com.
Keller, I hear good things about her. Have you been to her office?
Kenny has. I have not.
Is it lined with books that she has to go through because of these morons expanding the tax codes to about 50 volumes?
Yes, it is. Why are you yelling?
That's the way to get my point across. Come on, look.
Okay, President. I mean, Mayor.
No, you still kind of sound like you don't know where you're at. Sorry.
Jesus.
Bert writes, hey, Mr. Basketball, did you happen to see the block shot at the end of the game tonight by Anthony Edwards? Holy crap, the dude's half nuts, but he clearly likes to win. I not only saw it, I couldn't believe it. And if you haven't seen it, all you got to do is YouTube Anthony Edwards block.
It was an athletic feat.
He would have kept defying gravity had it not been for the rim there.
Exactly.
I think he would have gone up to the rafters.
His head hit the bottom of the backboard, then hit the rim, and then he landed on his side.
Right.
He was 10 feet off the ground.
I don't know how many ribs I would have broken.
And against all odds, the guy has made me tune in when he's playing. He's their Wayne Gretzky.
Well,
you never know what he'll do.
But you know what he hasn't done? The double pump layup.
Yeah. I could teach him. It's going to cost him, though.
This is very interesting. We took the white privilege test.
I was going to bring this up. Thank you, Scott. Hey, gang, it's been pointed out by a few outlets that many sections of his speech last night was the exact same speech as last year, virtually word for word. That's been pointed out a couple of times. But I'm not going to go look at both of them, so I don't know if that.
Either am I.
Got it.
We took a white privilege test that I passed with flying colors. I have 0 white privilege. Some of you others. But my buddy Noah, he works I can say it, he works for Scooney. And he took the test. And he writes, he says, hail the flashlight king.
Hey.
I was listening to Wednesday's podcast and realized I had seen and heard the white privilege test before. I was given that same test in my American literature class in high school. It was one of the craziest experiences of my life. My white teacher handed out these tests to all the white kids in our class and singled out all the kids of any other races by not giving them one. Obviously, they would not have had any privilege. When a few of my buddies and I decided that we were not going to be participating in this activity, we were shamed, belittled, and asked to leave the classroom. Basically told that we were the reason that racism was still a problem. This stuff is being taught in school like it's part of the curriculum. And if you don't agree with it, they remove you from class because they have an agenda to push. Fast forward to Wednesday, talking about the show with a few guys at the shop. 2 of our co-workers of Mexican descent asked what we were talking about. We ran through the test with them and found out that our Mexican co-workers have more white privilege than the rest of us. Go figure. Always pushing back Noah.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I should read this too, and then I'll get back to Kamala Harris. Tim writes, Welders from West Central. We're Welders out in West Central, Minnesota. Hello, GL. My coworker and I listen to your podcast almost every day, and we enjoy hearing some of the Minnesota news and the conversations that it creates. It amazes me on how careful Muslims are at following the 5 pillars of their faith and how they never misuse the name of their prophet Muhammad or their God Allah. Yet I hear Christians, including you, Mayor, allowing the name that is above all names, Jesus, our Lord and Savior, to be used as a cuss word on the show and in Wednesday's podcast saying Jesus H. Christ. As a fellow believer and a sinner bought at the price of Jesus' blood, I beg all of you to use your logic and honor the only name under heaven by which we must be saved. Thanks, Tim Erickson. Tim, I will try not to do that again, but I did say, and I meant it, and I could have done it without taking the Lord's name. I was praying.
Mm-hmm.
I think the context in that particular situation, whereas some hack employee of the VA wanted to make sure we never saw the picture again of the sailor kissing the nurse on VJ Day in 1945.
Right.
So yes, I called on my higher power there. I will not do that.
What about the F word? Can I use that?
No.
I'm fine with that. What about crepe sake?
Oh, crepes.
Oh, crepe sake.
Judas Priest.
That was my old man.
Yeah.
Grandma
When he
would
said
say
that,
that.
something was wrong.
I mean,
Jordy alerted me to a New York state senator named Dan Steck. I think it's interesting. He was born to a Vietnam War veteran who then became a New York State forest ranger.
I thought they were assemblymen in.
Well, he was.
Oh, that must be the House.
In any event, he assumed office January 1, 2021. He's a Republican from the 45th district. He's married. He's got a kid, and apparently his education is quite extensive. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in chemical engineering from Clarkson University in Potsdam, New York. In case you didn't know, the state of New York has mandated all electric school buses by the year 2027. That's not that far away.
Okay.
All electric school buses by 2027. And here's what a fellow, thank God he might be a GLer. Here's what a state senator named Dan Steck, S-T-E-C, here's what he had to say about that.
I believe I'm the only legislator that has an engineering degree, and I know I'm the only legislator that has ever operated a nuclear reactor. So I know a little bit about power generation and distribution. From an engineer that's done a little bit of basic math and economics for you today, these are absolutely unachievable, unsustainable, and reckless mandates. And if nothing else, you phase this in. You start it where it might make sense. Urban areas in New York City where it's not 10 degrees routinely, where they want this, and where their bus routes are only 2 or 3 miles. That's the place to start. And then when that works, then maybe technology is catching up, maybe industry's catching up, and our production capacity is catching up, and then you're not breaking the bank. Listen to what I said, go back and replay it, and then start asking my majority colleagues in the governor's office what the plan is and how, after all this, don't you have any solid numbers for the public and the taxpayer and the kids and the parents that have to worry about their kids on these buses? I believe I'm...
That's just fantastic. Now compare that to what this woman said.
Imagine a future, the freight trucks that deliver bread and milk to our grocery store shelves, and the buses that take children to school and parents to work. Imagine all the heavy-duty vehicles that keep our supply lines strong and allow our economy to grow. Imagine that they produced zero emissions. Well, you all imagined it. That's why we're here today.
Okay,
because we
I
have
can't
the
take it.
ability to see.
You idiot. By the way, they're heavy vehicles, and it's being reported in a number of outlets that one of the greatest particulates created by transportation in general are bits of tire. We're all shedding tires all the time.
Okay.
But electric vehicles shed more of that because of their weight. They're very hard on tires.
Like they're running at Daytona, basically.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. The point is, here's a mandate in New York for no reason whatsoever to make all school buses electric. And here is a state senator in New York who understands some of the technology of this and is saying, you're wrong to go about it this way. This is foolish. We're not ready. And I will take him and his knowledge over that complete idiot who's the vice president. Complete idiot.
Imagine a future.
No.
Oh. Did you imagine, though?
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. I want to tell you,